Christmas was supposed to be a quiet but cozy evening for me and Lauren. I had imagined the two of us sharing a home-cooked meal, exchanging small but meaningful gifts, and maybe curling up on the couch with a classic holiday movie playing in the background. Nothing extravagant, nothing over the top, just the kind of Christmas that made a house feel like home. But things didn't go that way. It started with a text. "Everyone's staying home. Too dangerous to travel." That was what Lauren sent me on Christmas Eve, her message arriving right after dinner as I was settling into bed. I frowned at my phone, rereading her words, trying to push past the unexpected wave of disappointment. Bad weather. Ice storm warnings. Roads too dangerous for travel. It made sense, I told myself. We lived in the Midwest, and winter storms could be unpredictable. If the roads were icy, it wasn't worth the risk. Still, something felt off. I hesitated, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. I had just talked to my brother Adam 2 days earlier, and he had been excited about hosting Christmas dinner. Our parents were flying in, the kids were looking forward to presents, and my sister-in-law Melissa had been planning a huge meal. There had been no mention of canceling. Had things changed that quickly? I typed out a response. "Are you sure? I haven't heard anything from Adam." A few minutes passed before Lauren replied. "I just talked to them. They decided it's safer for everyone to stay home. The weather is supposed to get worse overnight." Her message was followed by a concerned voice note. "I know you were looking forward to it, babe, but we don't want to risk anyone getting hurt. Plus, we can have our own little Christmas together. Just us. Cozy and simple." I exhaled slowly, my fingers tightening around my phone. It wasn't like Lauren to be overly cautious about travel. She had driven in worse conditions before. But maybe she had a point. Maybe Adam and the rest of the family had genuinely called things off and just forgot to update me. And yet, something about it didn't sit right. Still, I let it go. The next morning, I woke up to a quiet house. No Christmas music playing, no smell of cinnamon or fresh coffee in the air. Just silence. Lauren had already left, supposedly to spend the day with her mother, though she hadn't mentioned any concrete plans. I tried not to dwell on the disappointment. Instead, I made myself breakfast, scrambled eggs and toast, nothing special, then spent most of the morning watching a mix of Christmas movies and reruns of old shows. I told myself that I was fine, that Christmas was just another day, that I didn't need the big family gathering, the noise, the laughter, or the warm chaos. And then, sometime around the afternoon, I did what everyone does when they're alone on a holiday. I picked up my phone and started scrolling. That was when my stomach dropped. There it was, a freshly posted photo from my brother Adam's Instagram. Perfect holiday. So blessed to have everyone together. The caption might as well have been a dagger straight to my chest. I clicked on the picture, my pulse pounding in my ears. The image filled my screen, and there was my entire family. Mom, Dad, Adam, Melissa, my nieces and nephews. Even my cousin Sophie, who lived out of state, had made it. They were all gathered around the dining table, smiling, dressed in festive sweaters, with a beautifully roasted turkey sitting in the center. And then I saw her, Lauren, my wife, right there at my brother's house, holding a glass of wine, laughing, completely at ease. Like nothing was wrong. Like she hadn't sent me a text telling me that Christmas was canceled. Like she hadn't left me alone while she went to celebrate with my family without me. I felt my breath hitch, my fingers going numb as I stared at the screen. The worst part? Through the large dining room windows behind them, I could see clear blue skies. The roads were fine. There was no ice storm, no bad weather. She had lied. Not just a little white lie. Not a simple miscommunication. A full, deliberate, premeditated lie. I kept scrolling, my stomach twisting with each new photo. There was my dad carving the turkey. There was my mom setting out her famous Christmas cookies. There was Adam holding up a toast, his arm wrapped around Melissa's shoulders. And there was Lauren, completely comfortable, completely at home, without me. For a long moment, I couldn't even process it. Had I misread something? Had I misunderstood? I opened my messages again, rereading Lauren's text from the night before. Everyone's staying home. Too dangerous to travel. I just talked to them. They decided it's safer for everyone to stay home. Lie, lie, lie. My pulse thundered in my ears, my body rigid as a realization swept through me like a tidal wave. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't some last-minute change. This was planned. She didn't forget to invite me. She didn't overlook me. She intentionally made sure I wouldn't be there. I stared at my phone, my hands trembling, because this meant something bigger. How many times had this happened before? How many other events, birthdays, family barbecues, anniversaries, had I been told were canceled, only to find out later that they had gone on without me? How long had she been doing this? The realization was a punch to the gut. I thought about every time I had spent a holiday alone, every time she had reassured me that my family was just bad at planning, or forgot to tell us the details. Every time she had claimed that my parents didn't appreciate me the way they should, and that maybe it was better if I kept my distance. Had she been managing my family relationships this entire time? Had she been isolating me? I clenched my jaw, my vision blurring as a single thought burned through my mind. I needed answers, and this time, I wasn't going to let her talk her way out of it. I sat there for what felt like hours, my phone still clutched in my hand, my thumb hovering over the screen as I scrolled through the photos again and again, as if somehow the images would change, as if somehow I had misunderstood what I was seeing. But no, the truth was staring back at me, undeniable, gut-wrenching. My wife, the woman I trusted more than anyone, had lied. Not just about a small detail, not about something trivial. She had deliberately orchestrated a situation where I would be alone on Christmas while she was out celebrating with my family. And that realization hit me like a wrecking ball. This wasn't just about one night. This wasn't just about Christmas. How many times had she done this before? A cold wave of nausea settled in my stomach as I thought back to the past few years. Moments that, at the time, had seemed like small disappointments, minor frustrations, easily brushed off as miscommunications. The Thanksgiving 2 years ago when Lauren told me at the last minute that my parents had decided to keep it small and just have dinner with Adam's family. The 4th of July barbecue that she said had been canceled because no one wanted to deal with the heat, only for me to later see pictures of everyone gathered around my brother's backyard pool. The time my mom's birthday dinner had supposedly been postponed, only for me to find out later that it had happened without me, Lauren telling me, "Oh, I must have misunderstood. I thought they moved it to next week." Was it all a coincidence? Or had she been doing this for years? Had she been managing my relationships, quietly keeping me apart from my own family while pretending to be supportive? I swallowed hard, my fingers tightening around my phone as I scrolled back through my messages with Lauren over the past year, scanning for patterns I had been too blind to see before. And there it was, the quiet manipulation. The subtle language designed to make me believe I was the one pulling away. Your family is always so last minute with plans, babe. It's frustrating. I swear they never tell us anything. If they really wanted you there, they'd communicate better. You know your mom always makes you feel like an afterthought anyway. Maybe it's best if we just enjoy a peaceful night at home instead of dealing with all that drama. At the time, I had believed her. I had trusted her. I had let myself believe that my family was careless, that maybe they didn't value me as much as they did Adam. I had let Lauren's words shape my reality, slowly, subtly, until I had stopped reaching out as much, stopped asking questions, stopped trying so hard to be included because I had convinced myself that they didn't really care if I was there or not. But that had never been true, had it? They had invited me. They had wanted me there. And Lauren had made sure that I wouldn't be. The worst part? I had trusted her so much that I had never even questioned it. I ran a hand through my hair, breathing hard, my chest tight with anger, betrayal, and something deeper, something I didn't want to name. She had stolen years from me. Years of family gatherings, birthdays, holidays, moments I could never get back. And for what? What was the reason? What possible excuse could she have for doing something so calculated, so cruel? I stared at my phone, a burning rage bubbling up inside me as I clicked on Adam's Instagram profile, scrolling back through old posts. How many times had I been missing from these pictures? How many times had I been erased from my own family's life? There, Thanksgiving last year. Lauren had told me everyone had decided to do their own thing. Yet here was a photo of my parents at Adam's house, laughing, passing dishes around the table, There, New Year's Eve 2 years ago. Lauren had claimed everyone was out of town, so we spent the night at home, just the two of us. But here was another photo, fireworks in the background, my family counting down the seconds to midnight, celebrating together. And there, my dad's retirement party, the one I hadn't even known happened. Lauren had told me that Dad didn't want a big deal made about it, that he wanted something quiet, just him and Mom. But the picture in front of me told a different story. A party, a huge party. Friends, extended family, everyone gathered at Adam's house, throwing their arms around my father, raising glasses in his honor. Everyone, except me. I felt something crack inside my chest, a sharp pain that ran deeper than just anger. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. This was planned. This was years of manipulation, years of gaslighting, years of making me believe I was unwanted, unimportant, an afterthought in my own family. And I had believed it. I had spent years telling myself it didn't matter, telling myself that as long as I had Lauren, I didn't need to fight so hard to belong. I had let her convince me that I was the problem. I had let her take everything from me, my family, my sense of belonging, my ability to even trust my own memories. I gritted my teeth, my heart hammering in my chest. No more. I wasn't going to let her talk her way out of this. I wasn't going to let her twist the truth, turn this back on me, make me doubt myself the way she always had. Not this time. I locked my phone, exhaling sharply as I made my decision. I was done being blind. I was done being played. She wanted to pretend that Christmas had been canceled? Fine. Because now, I was canceling her lies. And I was going to get the truth, whether she liked it or not. Lauren's call came the next morning, right on schedule, her voice light and casual, like nothing had happened. Hey babe, hope you had a nice, quiet Christmas. We missed you. The sheer audacity of her words made my grip tighten around the phone. Missed me? She had spent the entire day at my brother's house, drinking wine, laughing, enjoying a beautiful dinner with my family. While I sat alone in our house, thinking Christmas was canceled, I inhaled sharply, steadying myself, keeping my voice level. Really? I said, flipping open my laptop and staring at the photos still pulled up on the screen. Because Adam's Instagram says otherwise. The silence on the other end was deafening. For the first time since I had uncovered the truth, I could feel her thinking, scrambling to come up with a response, calculating her next move. And then, the fake surprise. Oh, that. Yeah, it was super last minute. Adam texted me that morning, and I wasn't sure if. Don't lie to me. My voice came out sharper than I intended, but I didn't care. She had lied to me. To my face. Lauren exhaled, her tone shifting. Nathan, come on. Don't make a big deal out of this. I didn't think you'd want to come. You always say those gatherings stress you out. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. That's funny because I don't remember saying that. Ever. Another pause. Then, she sighed dramatically, like I was the unreasonable one. Look, it's not like that, okay? I didn't want things to be awkward. You know how you get at family events, all quiet and tense. I thought maybe you'd be happier at home, relaxing, instead of dealing with all that. I clenched my jaw, my nails pressing into my palm. There it was. The gaslighting. She was trying to rewrite reality, trying to convince me that this was for my own good. You thought I'd be happier? I repeated, keeping my voice calm. So, instead of asking me, instead of giving me a choice, you just decided for me? I was trying to spare you, she snapped, suddenly defensive. God, you're acting like I did something horrible. It was just one dinner. One dinner, I echoed, my voice dangerously low. Then tell me this, Lauren. How many other one dinners have you lied about? Silence. She knew what I was talking about. Thanksgiving. My dad's retirement party. New Year's Eve. All the time she had conveniently forgotten to mention something, or told me it was canceled, or that my family hadn't invited me. For years, I had let those things go. I had convinced myself they weren't important, that maybe it really was just bad communication. But not this time. Lauren sighed again. But this time, it wasn't exasperation. It was stalling. She was trying to decide which approach to take. Defensive? Play the victim? Attack me for overreacting? I didn't give her the chance. You've been keeping me away from my family, haven't you? I said, my voice steady but sharp. For how long, Lauren? How many times have you lied to me? How many events did I miss because you didn't want me there? Oh my God. She let out a short laugh, but there was nothing genuine about it. You're seriously spiraling right now. You need to calm down. Calm down? My fingers tightened around the phone. Calm down while I sit here and realize my wife has spent years isolating me, turning me against my own family? That's not what happened, she snapped. Then tell me what did, I shot back. Silence. A long silence. And in that moment, I realized something. She wasn't denying it. She wasn't even trying to pretend she hadn't done it. She was just mad that I had figured it out. I swallowed back the rage simmering in my chest, my mind running through every moment over the past few years, every time she had subtly nudged me away from my family. I had let her. I had trusted her. And now, I wasn't sure I could ever trust her again. Why? I asked, my voice quieter now. Why would you do this? She didn't answer. And that scared me more than anything. Because there should have been an answer. A reason. But there wasn't. Because she hadn't done this for my benefit. She had done this for herself. Nathan, listen, she finally said. And her voice had softened, shifting to something more careful, more strategic. I didn't mean for it to be like this. I thought it was easier. Your family has never treated you right. They've always made you feel like you're second to Adam. I was just trying to protect you. I felt my stomach twist. Protect me? I echoed, bitterness creeping into my voice. Or control me. She went quiet again. Because that was the real truth, wasn't it? She had done this to keep me dependent on her. To make sure that when I felt alone, when I felt unwanted, she was the only person I had left. How long have you been doing this? I asked, my voice eerily calm. Nathan. How long? A pause. A sharp inhale. I don't know, she admitted, her voice almost too quiet to hear. A while. I closed my eyes, pressing my fingers to my temple, trying to process the weight of what she had just confessed. A while. Not months. Years. I had spent years wondering why I felt like an outsider in my own family. Years convincing myself that maybe I just wasn't the kind of person people wanted around. And all that time, she had been the reason. I took a slow, steady breath, letting the anger settle into something colder, something clearer. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to lose control. I was done playing her game. We're going to talk about this more when you get home, I said, my voice as even as I could make it. Lauren hesitated. She was used to me letting things go. She was used to winning. Okay, she finally said. We'll talk. But I already knew. This wasn't going to be a talk. This was going to be the moment everything changed. And I was finally ready for it. I sat in the quiet of our house, staring at the phone, my mind racing through years of memories, conversations, and small moments that I had dismissed as insignificant at the time. Now, every single one of them made sense. Lauren hadn't just lied to me about Christmas. She had been lying to me for years. And the worst part? I had let her. I had been so blinded by trust, by the belief that my wife had my best interests at heart, that I had ignored all the signs. The moments when something felt off, the times when I'd wonder why my family seemed distant, or why I was always the last to know about gatherings. Now, it was clear. It had always been her. I pulled up my messages, scrolling back through old conversations. I just think your family doesn't really make an effort with you, babe. They never really invite us properly, do they? It's always so last minute. I know you feel left out, but honestly, maybe it's better this way. They never treated you like they do Adam. They only call you when they need something. Have you noticed that? The way she had shaped the narrative, little by little, over time. She never outright told me to stop seeing them. She never made it obvious. She just planted seeds. Made me question my own place in my family. And when I started feeling like I didn't belong, she agreed with me, reinforcing the idea that it was their fault. I had spent years thinking that my family was careless, that they didn't care enough to reach out, that maybe I just wasn't as important to them as Adam was. But that wasn't true, was it? I thought back to moments that had seemed strange at the time but hadn't raised any red flags then. Like the time I overheard my mom on the phone with Lauren, her voice hesitant. Are you sure Nathan's okay with missing this? We don't want him to feel left out. And Lauren had laughed. Oh, trust me, he's fine. He'd rather have a quiet night than deal with all the noise. At the time, I hadn't thought much of it. I had been working late that night, and Lauren had assured me that the family dinner wasn't a big deal. Now, I wondered, had I really been invited? Or had she told them for me that I wasn't coming? Had she been doing this all along? I thought about my dad's retirement party, the one she had told me wasn't happening. I remembered how she had said, "Your dad didn't want a big deal made about it. It's just him and your mom having a quiet dinner." And I had believed her. Why wouldn't I? She was my wife. I had never even questioned it. But then, months later, I had seen the pictures, a full party, a celebration, everyone there except me. I had confronted my dad about it, and he had looked genuinely confused. "We thought you didn't want to come," he had said. "Lauren told us you were too busy with work and preferred to skip it." I had brushed it off at the time, thinking maybe it was a simple misunderstanding. Now, I saw it for what it really was. A pattern. A deliberate effort to keep me at arm's length from my family. And for what? Why would she do this? What did she gain from it? I leaned back in my chair, exhaling slowly, my hands trembling with the weight of everything I was realizing. It wasn't just that she had manipulated me. She had controlled me. She had spent years managing my relationships, making sure that she was the only person I truly depended on. I thought about all the times I had been upset about missing a family event. And every single time, she had been the one to comfort me. "It's okay, babe. You don't need them. We have our own family. Just us. They don't appreciate you like I do. Honestly, I think it's better this way. Less drama, right?" She had been both the cause of my pain and the solution to it. She had spent years isolating me while making me believe she was the only one I could truly rely on. And the worst part? I had let her. I had spent so much time trusting her, believing her, that I had never even questioned the possibility that she was the problem. Until now. Until I saw those pictures. Until I realized that she had been lying to me for years. I stood up, pacing the room, running a hand through my hair. This wasn't just about Christmas. This was about my entire marriage. Had it all been a lie? Had our relationship been built on manipulation from the start? Or had it started out real, and somewhere along the way, she had decided that she needed to control me? I felt a cold rage settle into my chest. I had given up so much because of her. I had pulled away from my family, believing that it was their fault, believing that I wasn't wanted, believing that I was the problem. But I wasn't. She was. I glanced at the clock. Lauren would be home in a few hours. And when she walked through that door, I wasn't going to let her talk her way out of this. I wasn't going to let her gaslight me. I wasn't going to let her lie to me again. I was going to get the truth. And this time, she wasn't going to be able to twist it in her favor. Lauren came home later that evening, acting like everything was normal. She walked in, took off her coat, and smiled at me like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't spent Christmas at my brother's house while I sat alone, believing that the dinner had been canceled. "Hey, babe," she said, dropping her purse onto the counter. "Long day. You wouldn't believe how crazy traffic was. People are still out shopping like it's Christmas Eve." I didn't respond. I was sitting at the kitchen table, my laptop open, phone next to me. The photos were still on my screen. Evidence. Proof. She noticed my silence, hesitated for half a second, then walked over to me, peering at my face. "You okay?" I looked up at her, my expression unreadable. "Yeah, just thinking." She smiled, leaned in to kiss me, but I pulled back. Her face changed instantly. A flicker of something crossed her features. Confusion? Guilt? Annoyance? "Nathan," she said slowly. "What's going on?" I tilted my laptop screen toward her, showing her the open Instagram post. The family Christmas she had told me was canceled. I watched as her face paled, her body tensed. "Explain this," I said flatly. A second of silence. Then she laughed. She actually laughed. "Oh my God. Is this what you've been sulking about all day?" She crossed her arms, rolling her eyes. "Nathan, I already told you. It was last minute. I didn't think you'd care that much." I kept my gaze steady. You didn't think I'd care about being lied to? She scoffed. I didn't lie. I just didn't want to stress you out. You hate big family events anyway. I thought it would be easier if… Easier for who? I cut in. Because I didn't get a choice, did I? You decided for me. You made me believe that my family didn't invite me. She sighed heavily, rubbing her temples. You're making such a big deal out of nothing. Nathan, you're overreacting. No, I said coldly. I'm finally seeing things clearly. She stopped, her eyes narrowing. And that was when I knew. She understood that I wasn't backing down this time. That's when she switched tactics. Look fine, she said, her voice softer, more careful. Maybe I should have told you. Maybe I handled it wrong. But it's not like I was trying to hurt you, babe. I was trying to protect you. Protect me? Yes, she insisted. Your family treats you like an outsider, Nathan. They always favor Adam. They make you feel like you're second best. I see how they act, how they talk over you at dinner, how they barely acknowledge what you do. I didn't want you to feel that again. I stared at her, my jaw tightening. So you lied. She let out a sharp breath. Oh my God. Are we really going in circles? Yes, I didn't tell you the full story. But you're missing the point. I did it for you. I was trying to make things easier for you. I could feel my heartbeat in my ears. Or were you trying to make things easier for yourself? Her expression flickered. She knew. She knew I was onto her. And that was when I finally decided. I needed to see just how deep this went. I reached for my phone, opened our shared banking app, and started scrolling through the transactions. Lauren frowned. What are you doing? I ignored her, my eyes scanning through the statements. I wasn't even sure what I was looking for, just a gut instinct, a feeling that something wasn't right, that this wasn't just about Christmas. And then I saw it. A transfer. A large transfer. From my personal account to Lauren's private savings account. And not just one. Multiple. For years. I felt a slow, creeping dread spread through my chest as I opened the details. Each transfer was labeled as something different. Investment. Home expenses. Emergency fund. But the amounts, thousands of dollars at a time, didn't match up with anything we had actually spent. I looked up at her, my pulse pounding. Lauren, I said, my voice unnervingly calm. Where is this money? She blinked. What? These transfers. Thousands of dollars. Where did it go? She forced a laugh. Nathan, you're being ridiculous. You know we've had house repairs, travel expenses? This isn't for house repairs, I cut in, or travel. This is something else. What did you do with my money? Her jaw clenched. That was when it hit me. She hadn't just been isolating me from my family. She had been stealing from me. For how long? What else had she hidden? A chilling thought crossed my mind. My inheritance. My grandfather had left me a sizable sum when he passed. A safety net for my future. It had been placed in a trust until I turned 30. Lauren had always been the one handling the paperwork, assuring me that it was in safe hands, that she was taking care of everything. What if? I swallowed hard, my hands shaking as I clicked into my trust account. My stomach dropped. The balance was nearly empty. Lauren's face changed the second she saw my reaction. Nathan, listen. It's gone. My voice was barely above a whisper. The money is gone. My inheritance. She said nothing, because there was nothing she could say. I exhaled sharply, my entire body shaking. She had taken everything. The isolation, the manipulation, the gaslighting. It had all been for this. To keep me dependent on her while she drained me dry. I clenched my jaw, my fists tightening. Tell me the truth, Lauren. My voice was low, even. How much did you take? She opened her mouth, closed it, then swallowed. I already knew the answer. All of it. I stared at her, my entire world spinning. This wasn't just betrayal. This was theft. This was fraud. And suddenly, I knew. This wasn't just going to end with an argument. This wasn't just about Christmas. This was about taking back everything she had stolen from me. And I wasn't going to let her get away with it. Lauren's face had changed. Gone was the fake concern, the nervous laugh, the dismissive attitude she had put on when I first confronted her. Now, she was staring at me, her lips pressed together, Her arms crossed over her chest. Not in fear, not even in guilt. She was calculating, trying to decide what to say next, what angle to take. Because she knew. She knew I had finally figured it out. Tell me the truth, Lauren. My voice was steady, controlled, but the anger simmered beneath the surface. How much did you take? She let out a sharp breath, running a hand through her hair. Nathan, listen, this is getting ridiculous. You're making it sound like I stole from you. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on the table, keeping my eyes locked onto hers. Did you? A flicker of something, hesitation, panic, flashed across her face before she masked it. I managed our finances, Nathan. I made decisions that were best for both of us. You were always so busy with work, so I took care of things. That's what a wife does. You drained my inheritance, I said coldly. You transferred money into your private account for years. That's not taking care of things, Lauren. That's theft. She scoffed, shaking her head. You're acting like I blew it all on designer bags or some affair. I didn't. Okay? It went toward us. Toward things we needed. I exhaled sharply through my nose, keeping my patience in check. Give me specifics, I demanded. Where did it go? She hesitated again. That same flicker of guilt and calculation. She wasn't ready to give me a straight answer, because the truth wasn't something she could spin in her favor. And I knew then, she had done something with that money that she never wanted me to find out about. My pulse pounded in my ears as I opened another browser tab, pulling up my credit history, something I hadn't checked in months. Lauren had always handled the bills. I trusted her, so I had never thought to check. But as the page loaded, my stomach dropped. Debt. Tens of thousands of dollars in debt. Loans, credit lines, maxed out cards that I had never signed up for. All under my name. I felt my entire body tense. Lauren, I said slowly, my voice dangerously low. Did you take out loans in my name? She didn't answer. She didn't deny it. And that was my answer. A cold, sinking realization settled over me. It wasn't just that she had been moving money into her account. She had been actively stealing from me, signing my name, taking out credit, running up debt, and I had never known. I had trusted her. I had spent years believing that she had my best interests at heart. I had let her isolate me, convince me that my family didn't care, that she was the only person I could rely on, while she robbed me blind. I swallowed hard, my fingers tightening into fists. What did you spend it on? I asked, my voice like steel. Her face twisted, her jaw tightening. I had to do it, Nathan. Had to. I let out a short, humorless laugh. You had to steal from me? You wouldn't understand, she muttered, shaking her head. Try me. She finally looked up at me, her expression darkening. Because I was tired of struggling. I blinked. Struggling? We weren't struggling, Lauren. I make good money. We had savings. What the hell were you struggling with? Her eyes flashed with something I couldn't quite place. You just don't get it, do you? You're fine living your boring, stable life, working your safe little job, watching the money come in while expecting me to just sit here and do nothing. I froze. And then, suddenly, I understood. Lauren had always hated that she wasn't the center of attention. She had always been envious, not of me, but of the financial stability I had. She had always wanted more. You weren't struggling, I said slowly, realization sinking in. You were trying to build your own safety net. You were trying to make sure that, if this marriage ever fell apart, you'd walk away with everything. Her silence confirmed it. She had been planning for this for years. This was never about protecting me, was it? I asked, my voice hollow. This was about protecting yourself. She swallowed hard, looking away, and I felt something inside me break. Not just the betrayal, not just the anger, but the love. Because love doesn't survive something like this. You never planned for us, did you? I continued, my voice quieter now. You planned for you. You kept me from my family, from anyone who might notice what you were doing, because you didn't want me to find out. You wanted me to think I had no one but you. A muscle in her jaw twitched, but she didn't deny it. And all this time, I thought I was the problem, I whispered, shaking my head. I thought I had been the one pulling away from my family. I thought I had been the one who wasn't trying hard enough. I thought I had been the one who wasn't wanted. But it was her. She had spent years making sure I felt alone. So she could do this. So she could take everything from me. My money, my trust, my sense of reality. And now, I had nothing left to give her. I looked at Lauren, and for the first time, I didn't see my wife. I saw a stranger. And I knew, without a doubt, that this was the end. Because I wasn't going to let her get away with this. Not anymore. Lauren sat across from me, arms crossed, eyes darting back and forth as she tried to calculate her next move. I had caught her. She had stolen from me, drained my inheritance, taken out loans in my name, and now she was out of excuses. But there was one more thing that didn't add up. Something bigger. Something I hadn't pieced together yet. I leaned back in my chair, studying her carefully. You didn't do this alone, did you? Her expression flickered, just for a second. But it was enough. A small crack in the carefully controlled mask she had been wearing. I sat up, clicking back through my bank statements, going further back this time. And then I saw something new. A series of large transfers, not just to Lauren's account, but to another. A joint account. Not in my name. In my brother's name. My chest tightened as I stared at the screen. What the hell was Adam's name doing in my financial records? Lauren shifted in her seat. Nathan, don't. I ignored her, scrolling faster, pulling up another tab, searching for more. More hidden transfers, not just one or two, but dozens. Thousands of dollars moving between my accounts and Adam's for years. My own family had been involved in this. I looked up at her, my stomach churning. You weren't just stealing from me. You were working with them. Lauren exhaled sharply, rubbing her temples like she was the victim in all of this. It's not what you think. Then explain it, I said flatly. She hesitated. I could see the battle in her mind. Should she keep lying, keep pretending, or finally tell me the truth? She picked the wrong option. It was just a loan, she said. Your family needed help, and you never would have agreed, so I handled it for you. I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so blatantly, ridiculously false. A loan? I repeated. Tens of thousands of dollars? Without my permission? That's not a loan, Lauren. That's fraud. She groaned. Jesus, Nathan, stop being dramatic. Your brother needed it for the business. Your parents needed help with the house. I thought you'd want to help them. So you just, what? Took my inheritance? Took out loans in my name? And instead of coming to me like a normal person, you conspired behind my back? Lauren's jaw clenched. They didn't want to ask you because they knew how you'd react. How I'd react? I shot back. You mean like this? Like a man who just found out his wife and family have been robbing him blind for years. Her face twisted in frustration. Nathan, they're your family. They needed help, but you wouldn't have given it. So yes, I stepped in. I did what was best for everyone. No, you did what was best for yourself, I snapped. You made sure I was cut off from them, so I wouldn't find out. You made sure I felt like an outsider, like I didn't belong. Because if I stayed close, if I had real conversations with them, I would have figured this out years ago. Lauren looked away, and that was all the confirmation I needed. I took a slow, steady breath, letting the weight of it all sink in. My own family had been in on this. They had stolen from me, lied to me, and let Lauren be the one controlling it all. Suddenly, everything made sense. The forced distance. The weirdly vague responses when I asked about family events. The feeling that I wasn't wanted, that I was always an afterthought. They hadn't been pushing me away because they didn't care. They had been pushing me away because they were hiding something. And Lauren had been the one managing it all. I clenched my fists, my mind racing. I had spent years feeling like I wasn't enough for my own family. Like I didn't belong. Like they had always preferred Adam over me. But the truth was much, much worse. They hadn't been ignoring me. They had been using me. And Lauren was their accomplice. When were you going to tell me? I asked, my voice low. Lauren didn't answer. When I was completely bankrupt. When I had no way to recover. I pressed. Or were you hoping I'd never find out? She swallowed. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Then how was it supposed to be? She bit her lip, hesitating. Then, finally, she spoke. Adam was supposed to pay it back, she muttered. I scoffed. Oh yeah? When? Because I don't see any deposits coming back into my accounts. Just more money going out. Lauren sighed, rubbing her forehead. He said the business needed time. That once things took off, he'd return everything. Your parents trusted him, so I did too. I clenched my jaw. It was all a lie. Adam's business was always struggling. It had never taken off. And my parents? They had spent my inheritance keeping their own house afloat while I had been working my ass off, thinking I was the screw-up of the family. I felt something inside me shift, a final break. I had spent years being the dutiful son, the good husband, the one who worked hard, paid his bills, took care of his responsibilities. And for what? So my own wife and family could bleed me dry? I exhaled, standing up slowly. You need to leave. Lauren's head snapped up. What? You heard me. I grabbed my phone, pulled up my lawyer's contact. I'm done. I'm reporting this. Every single transaction. Every fraudulent loan. And if you think I won't press charges, you don't know me as well as you thought you did. Lauren's face drained of color. Nathan, wait. No. I cut her off. I waited long enough. I trusted you long enough. And now? I'm done. She stood up, reaching for me, but I stepped back. Don't. My voice was cold. Pack your stuff. Get out. Because after today, you and I, we're done. She stared at me, panic flashing across her face. And for the first time, I saw it. She wasn't in control anymore. I was. And I wasn't about to let her, or my family, get away with this. Not this time. Lauren stood there, her face pale, her hands shaking slightly at her sides. For once, she had nothing to say. She wasn't laughing. She wasn't rolling her eyes. She wasn't trying to twist my words to make me feel like I was the problem. Because she knew. She had lost. I grabbed my phone, scrolled through my contacts, and pressed call. Lauren's eyes widened. Who are you calling? I didn't answer. The phone rang twice before a calm voice answered. This is Daniel Cohen's office. How can I help you? My lawyer. Hi, Rachel. It's Nathan. I need to report financial fraud. I have records of unauthorized transfers, loans taken out in my name without my consent, and potential collusion between my wife and my family. I need to know my legal options. Lauren lunged for my phone. Nathan, don't do this. We can fix this. I stepped back, holding up a hand. You don't get to touch me. You don't get to talk your way out of this. You don't get to decide what happens next. Rachel's voice was calm but firm. Nathan, do you have access to all the financial records? Yes. Good. Screenshot and email them to me. Do you feel safe at home? I glanced at Lauren. She was standing stiffly, her jaw tight, her hands clenching and unclenching at her sides. For now, yes. Okay. I'll review everything and get back to you within the hour. If you feel unsafe, leave. And don't let her manipulate you into waiting. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. Got it. As soon as I hung up, Lauren exploded. Are you serious? You're involving a lawyer? Nathan, it was just money. It's not like I cheated on you. I laughed. A bitter, hollow laugh. Just money? I repeated. You stole my inheritance. You took out loans in my name. You've been isolating me from my own family for years, making sure I didn't find out what was happening. If that's not betrayal, I don't know what is. Her face twisted in frustration. I was trying to protect us. No, Lauren, I said coldly. You were trying to protect yourself. You were making sure that if this marriage ever ended, you'd walk away with everything and leave me with nothing. She took a step toward me, her voice softer, more careful. Nathan, please. You don't want to do this. We can fix this. I love you. There it was. The final card she had left to play. Love. I stared at her, and for the first time, I really saw her. Not as my wife. Not as the woman I had trusted. As a stranger. A liar. A thief. You don't love me, I said quietly. You love control. And you're only scared now because you've lost it. Her lips parted slightly, and I saw the flicker of panic in her eyes. Because she knew I was right. I turned away from her and grabbed my laptop, opening my email. I attached every file I had gathered, bank statements, transaction records, screenshots of the fake loans she had taken out. And I hit send. The final nail in the coffin. Lauren's breath hitched as she watched me. What are you doing? I'm making sure you pay for what you did. Her face twisted into something ugly, something raw. Nathan, if you do this, you'll ruin everything. You'll make a mess that we can't clean up. Just think for a second. Oh, I said, turning back to her. I've thought about every moment you lied to me. Every time you made me feel like I wasn't wanted. Every time you convinced me that my family didn't care about me, while you were stealing from me behind my back. She clenched her jaw. You think your family is innocent in all this? They used you too. Oh, I know, I said coldly. And don't worry. I'll be dealing with them next. Her shoulders slumped. She knew she had lost. For years, she had controlled the narrative. For years, she had made sure I questioned myself, made sure I felt like I was the problem. Not anymore. My phone vibrated. An email from Rachel. Nathan, this is worse than I expected. The forged loans alone are enough to take legal action. You need to act fast before she tries to hide any more assets. If you're serious about pressing charges, I'll start drafting the paperwork immediately. I looked back at Lauren. You need to pack your things, I said. Her eyes widened. What? No. We can talk about this. Please, Nathan. No. I cut her off. You lost your right to talk when you stole from me. You need to leave. Now. Her face crumpled. Real panic. She had never expected this. She had never thought I would fight back. Where am I supposed to go? She whispered. That's not my problem, I said. She stared at me for a long moment. Then, slowly, she realized. She had spent years planning for this moment, making sure that if our marriage ever fell apart, she would walk away with everything. And yet, here she was, with nothing. She inhaled sharply, her eyes burning with anger. You're going to regret this, Nathan, she hissed. You think your family is going to welcome you back with open arms? They only care about Adam. They used you, and you're about to let them win. I tilted my head. Oh, I'm not letting them win. Her expression flickered with confusion. I smirked. I'm going to make them pay too. Lauren swallowed. She could see it now. I wasn't the quiet, naive husband she had been controlling all these years. I was done playing her game. She hesitated for another second, then turned on her heel and stormed out of the room. I listened as she went upstairs, slamming drawers, shoving her things into a suitcase. I exhaled, running a hand through my hair. This was just the beginning. Lauren had gotten away with this for years. She had worked with my own family to steal from me. And now? Now, I was going to get back everything they took from me. And I wasn't stopping until every single one of them paid. Lauren was gone. The moment she realized I was serious, that I wasn't going to let her sweet-talk her way out of this, that I wasn't going to let her gaslight me into doubting what I knew, she packed her things and left. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She didn't even try to apologize. She just stared at me one last time before walking out the door, her suitcase rolling behind her, muttering something about how I was throwing everything away. But I wasn't the one who had thrown this marriage away. She had done that the moment she decided to steal from me. The moment she started lying to my face. The moment she convinced me that I was alone, that my family didn't care about me, when all along, she was the one keeping me away from them. And I wasn't about to let that go unpunished. As soon as she left, I sat down at my desk, took a deep breath, and started securing everything. Lauren had spent years quietly moving my money into her own accounts, taking out loans in my name, making sure that if I ever woke up to what she was doing, I wouldn't have enough left to fight back. She thought she had covered her tracks. She thought she had one. But she didn't count on one thing. I was done being blind. The first thing I did was contact my bank and freeze every joint account we shared. I transferred my remaining savings into a new, private account under my name only. Then, I shut down all authorized users on my credit cards. Lauren had no access anymore. She had stolen from me for years. Now, she was cut off. With Lauren out of the house, I finally had the space to think clearly. But there was still one problem left. My family. I had spent years thinking I was the outsider, the forgotten son, the one they didn't really care about. But now, I understood. They hadn't ignored me because they didn't love me. They had ignored me because they were using me. Adam, my brother, had taken thousands from me. My parents had been in on it, covering for him, and they had let Lauren do the dirty work, knowing I trusted her more than anyone. They thought they were safe. They thought that, even if Lauren was gone, I wouldn't turn on them. They were wrong. I pulled up my email and forwarded every bank statement, every fraudulent transfer, every piece of evidence I had to my lawyer. Then, I picked up the phone and called my brother. He answered on the third ring, his voice groggy, like he had just woken up. "Nathan? What's up?" "You stole from me." Silence. Then, a sharp inhale. "What are you talking about?" I laughed. A cold, bitter laugh. "Don't insult me, Adam. I have the records. I have the bank statements. I know about the loans. I know that Lauren was moving money into your account." More silence. Then, the denial. "Listen, bro, I don't know what Lauren told you, but I had nothing to do with that." "Then why does your name show up on my financial records?" Another pause. I could practically hear him panicking on the other end of the line. "Nathan, listen." "No. You listen. I'm taking legal action. I've already spoken to my lawyer, and unless you and Mom and Dad come up with every cent you took from me, I'll make sure you all end up in court." "Come on, man. We're family." "No. You stopped being my family the moment you decided to rob me." He started scrambling, backpedaling, but I wasn't listening anymore. For years, I had felt like I wasn't enough. For years, I had believed that I was the problem. Now, I knew the truth, and I was finally taking my life back. I didn't stop at Adam. I called my parents next, and when my mother picked up, trying to sound cheerful, trying to pretend like nothing had happened, I didn't even let her get a word in. "I know about the money, Mom." Instant silence. Then, a weak, Nathan, sweetheart, it's not what you think. You stole from me. We just borrowed it. We were going to pay you back. Really? I snapped. Then why was it hidden? Why did Lauren have to lie to me for years? Why did you keep me away from the family, Mom? If you weren't doing anything wrong, why did you make sure I wouldn't find out? She stammered. She tried to shift the blame onto Adam, onto Lauren, onto anyone but herself. But I had had enough. "You have 1 week," I said coldly. 1 week to return every penny. If you don't, I'm pressing charges." She gasped. "Nathan, you wouldn't." "Try me." And I hung up. I had spent my whole life trying to be the good son, the quiet one, the one who didn't cause problems. Not anymore. A year later, I sat in my new apartment, 1,000 miles away from the town where I had lost everything. Lauren had fought the divorce at first, but with the fraud charges looming over her, she had no leverage. She ended up walking away with nothing. Adam tried to recover his business, but with the money trail exposed, investors pulled out. Mom and Dad tried to reach out, tried to spin the story, but I was done listening. I had finally learned something. Family isn't about blood. It's about who you can trust. And the people I had called family, I couldn't trust them anymore. So I built a new family. Real friends. People who didn't use me. People who cared about me for me. And on Christmas morning, as I sat in my new home, drinking coffee, watching the snow fall outside, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. Because in the end, the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting free.